I am David Llewellyn. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. Providence Presbyterian Church is my home church. This is my 14th mission trip here to Chimbote. I'd like to take a few minutes to try to explain to you why I come every year and hopefully convince you to experience what I do every year and step out of your own personal comfort zone. So no electricity, no water. I would like to read to you a short passage from a book called Radical by David Platt. I read this book before I first came in 2010, and I hope it has the same impact upon you as it does on me. David says, I remember when I was first preparing to go to Sudan, a nation impoverished by a civil war. The trip was going to cost me around $3,000, and it wasn't easy to travel into Sudan since they were still at war. And we would have to charter a plane and spend a few extra days to make that happen. I remember one dear lady in my church coming up to me and asking, "Why don't you just send $3,000 to the people in Sudan? Wouldn't that be a better use of money than you spending a week and a half with them? Think how far that money could go." I wrestled with this question. Was I wasting these funds in order to go when I could simply give the money instead? Should I even be going? I continued wrestling with that question until I got to Sudan. There, I had a conversation with Andrew that shed some light on this question. Andrew was sharing with me about his life in Sudan over the last 20 years. He had known war since he was born. He had described facets of the suffering and persecution his people had been through. He told me about the various groups, most of them secular or government organizations, who had brought supplies to them during that time. And he expressed thanks for their generosity of so many people. But then he looked at me and asked, even in light of all these things that people have given us, do you want to know how you can tell who a true brother is? I leaned forward. How? I asked. He responded, a true brother comes to be with you in your time of need. Then he looked me in the eye and said, David, you are a true brother. Thank you for coming to be with us. Tears welled up in my eyes as the reality of the gospel hit home with me in an entirely new way. I was immediately reminded that when God chose to bring salvation to you and me, He did not send gold or silver, cash or check. He sent Himself, the Son. Radical was calling me to live my life differently. Joining a group heading to Chimbote for a week of mission helped me fulfill this goal.
You can have my heart.
This first trip in 2010 was a true leap out of my comfort zone. The trip was strenuous and living conditions were at best Spartan. I survived the week and saw firsthand how much our efforts impacted those we served. But the impact of the people of Chimbote had on me was so much greater. Over the years, ACAF has continued to improve the living conditions, and the meals have always been excellent. You will never taste fresher fruit or drink better juice. As Paul writes in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20, we are ambassadors for Christ. He is giving us the great honor of representing Him, of actually being His ambassador to Chimbote, Peru. On my first trip, Kurt Coleman shared the following during a devotion. God, who needs nothing and can do all things, has actually invited each of us to, in essence, become Him to the poor and forgotten. We have the power to give hope to the hopeless and to give dignity and love to those who just need to know they matter, that their own life has purpose. On a mission trip to Chimbote, you'll have a chance to build a home for a family. You'll work with a crew of Peruvian craftsmen, develop relationships with the family, and start to understand the culture of these wonderful people. There are two things that have impacted my faith journey the most. One was water distribution in San Pedro to those without access to a water supply. This simple act provides the residents with water to cook, drink, and wash in a harsh environment. The second was distributing bread and fish to the poor. We fed hundreds and had food left for the soup kitchen. This activity really brought home to me Jesus and His disciples' actions detailed in the Gospel. Each year, our Providence group visits La Caleta, the hospital for the poor, to provide financial support for patients in need, and we pray for their healing and recovery. Other activities your mission group could explore include hosting carnivals for children. Ambitious teams have made major impacts on the Cambio Puente community, providing buildings for preschool, childcare, learning centers, and offices for private client social worker meetings. Each mission team plans a schedule of activities with Friends of Chimbote tailored to their own passions and budget. In closing, I ask you, please prayerfully consider stepping out of your own personal comfort zone and becoming God's ambassador to the people of Chimbote. Thank you very much.
Come down, come listen with me to the songs that they sing, to the words that they speak unbroken. Their stories come in each tear that flows, in each smile that calls. Come no matter the language spoken. Chimbote, secret hiding place for amazing grace. Sublime gracia del Señor. Fui ciego, mas hoy miro yo, perdido.